Welcome back to the Masters in Travel podcast, where we explore the strategies, tools, and inspiration you need to build a thriving travel business. I'm Brianna, and today we are doing another solo episode, so you're just going to hear from me. And thank you for the positive feedback last month. If you still are enjoying these episodes, please let us know as we try out this different format. But today we're going to dive into one of the most crucial aspects of your business, according to me at least, and that is your brand. Now, your brand is more than just a logo or a catchy tagline, and I'm sure you know that. But what I want to get across today is that it's the heart of how clients perceive you, and it really is what essentially makes them trust you, book with you, and refer you to others. At least it has this potential to be that, right? So in the crowded world of all the different ways people can book their travel, having a clear and compelling brand is your key to standing out. So this doesn't have to be complicated, but I know that sometimes it can feel that way. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, we'll walk away with actionable steps to refine your brand and attract your ideal clients. And my goal is to kind of demystify it a bit, to make it not as scary, not as complicated, so that we all can really stand out in the saturated market that is booking travel and really attract more of the clients that we love to work with. So I'm going to be honest with you. I talk about this now, 9 years in, feeling like I have a pretty good grasp on branding. And it really is one of the topics that I find fascinating to talk about and to teach about. But when I first started Milk and Honey Travels, my brand wasn't as defined or cohesive as it is now, not even close. In the beginning, I'm sure that I blended in far more than I stood out. In all honesty, when I think back, and this is like cringy to even think about, the first photo that I used on the website that I just created myself on Squarespace, but I used like fully like free stock photo. And it was this beach scene with a suitcase made of sand. Like, why? What is that? But, I thought that kind of conveyed luxury, travel, whatever. It is not in alignment with my brand. But over the years, I've grown to love branding and I understand its power as a differentiator. It really did, though, take time to refine my messaging, my visuals, and my overall presence. And so over the years, I believe that I've done a pretty good job at honing in on what makes Milk and Honey Travels unique. And now it feels much more aligned and more recognizable than a suitcase made out of sand on the beach. If you have a branding photo like that at the moment, no worries, right? Like we can get better. Anyway, that's why I'm so passionate about helping other travel advisors do the same, find that same sort of confidence in their brand, because I know firsthand how transformative it can be when your brand really starts to click. So let's jump in and hopefully dive into this topic in a way that really makes sense. First, I want to talk about your brand identity, because this is the foundation of everything you do, not only when it comes to your brand, but also your client experience, which is also related to your brand. We have done podcasts about that, so go back and listen if you haven't heard them. But your brand identity should reflect your mission, your vision, and your values, and it's guiding how you communicate the experiences you create and the clients you attract. So let's start with mission. This is what drives your business. Your mission is the purpose, like the literal purpose behind your business. Why do you do what you do? It is far more or deeper than I book travel. It should be, right? So if for Milk and Honey Travels, which is my business, my mission is to design travel that is individual, inspired, and imaginative while ensuring that our operations run smoothly and having a profitable and sustainable business model to serve clients with the highest level of care while also preventing burnout. Now, I said a lot of things there. Part of that mission statement is client facing, is front facing. You'll see that tagline on my website about being individual, inspired, and imaginative. But there's also an element to my mission that is not client facing, but it is still the purpose behind my travel business, why I started it, why I want it to be what it is, what guides and drives me. And so it did take me a while to try and clarify this mission, because in the beginning, as if you are a new advisor, this might be the case for you, I was simply wanting to book trips. Like where there's a trip, I will plan it. That's my mission, literally to get business. But as I gained experience, I realized that there's something more. And the true passion for me lies in crafting unique, highly personalized experiences that truly resonate with my clients and bring us both a sense of joy. Now, this is why I would at the beginning get easily sidetracked with how other people were running their businesses or seemingly successful, right? I remember I went to this conference and I went to this like breakout session about how it's such a good business model to do destination weddings. They're so profitable. You know, you can do this many and make this much and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I should do destination weddings. But literally, that is not the purpose behind Milk and Honey Travels. It's not why I do what I do. It's not what lights me up. And so I had to really make sure that when I'm crafting a mission statement, it really resonates with myself. And so find the time to ask yourself what the deeper purpose is behind your travel business and what you want your clients to experience and feel after working with you. Try to write this down in 1 or 2 sentences that becomes your mission statement, so to speak. As an exercise, if this becomes like, okay, I'm really not grasping this or I don't know where to start, I want to make sure I'm on the right path. Think of this exercise. So ask yourself, why did you start your business beyond just selling travel? Give yourself some time to really answer that question. What do you want to be known for? Ask yourself, what kind of impact do you want to have on your clients? And then try this kind of exercise. Write down 3 things you want every client to experience as a result of working with you. So maybe you want them to feel adventurous, relaxed, or deeply connected to local cultures. These ideas become the foundation of your mission statement. So hopefully that's helpful in the mission of your business. Next, let's go to vision. This is all about where you are headed. Your vision is where you see your business going in the future. It's aspirational. It gives you something to strive towards. It's essentially your North Star. And so I have a vision for Milk and Honey Travels to grow into a leading boutique travel company that crafts innovative and travel experiences for a certain number of clients that gets me to a certain revenue point that allows for a certain level of profitability. My goal is not just to book trips. It's not just to book a certain number of trips. It's not certainly to sell a certain amount of travel, but I have this vision for my business. And part of it is tied to these like values that I can kind of ascertain, but I'm really focused on what the future looks like. And so anytime I make a decision or I'm crafting what my goals are, I am remaining focused on what that North Star is, what I'm building towards, what I want for my business, and making sure that that is in alignment. And again, this comes over time. And it's not just about like when I started, I was like, oh shoot, I did 50 trips this year. I want to do 70 next year. It's really having that clarity on like where I'm going in the next 5 years. And I believe that a truly successful travel business should be intentional and high quality and aligned for what I want for my life and also for my clients. There's the both and there. This vision is what I want for myself and also for my clients, and making sure that those can live harmoniously. So ask yourself, what do you want and what does success look like for you in 5 years? How many clients are you hoping to serve? What kind of experiences do you want to be known for? Write a short paragraph as if you've already achieved it. That would kind of be my exercise for creating a strong vision. What do you want your business to look like in 5 years? Do you want to stay small and intimate or grow into a team that has a reputation and that impacts the industry in some larger way? That was something that I struggled with, for a while, because there's part of my personality that is always like bigger, more success. And then there's also part of my inner knowing of what I want for my own personal life and my family that is going to be best served by a small, intimate, still successful team approach that is not going to look like a big team that I manage and run. So write a paragraph about your ideal business 5 years from now as if it has already happened, and let this be the vision for your business that drives you and becomes your North Star. The next thing that I want to kind of discuss is we've done mission, we've done vision, and now we're on to values, your core values, your guiding principles. These are the values that guide every decision you make in your business. They shape your client experience, your marketing, and your business operations. And it's very easy for us to kind of like throw values out that just sound good and not take the time to think about if they truly are the thing that like matters to you matters to your business, matters to your clients. And so I'm going to read you mine, but I still know that this is a process. I still want to make sure that these values really are the thing that like I want to hang my hat on, so to speak, that they're not just here because they sound good, but that I am truly running my business in alignment with these values and that I am making decisions on a day-by-day basis, on a large-scale basis that flow from what I believe to be true for my guiding principles. So number one, and I think you should have about 3 to 5, not more. Like I said, everything can sound good, but like 3 to 5 is a really good number to kind of like base yourself at. So client commitment. So we honor the valuable leisure time our clients entrust to us by ensuring every vacation is a worthwhile investment. That's our commitment that we want to make to our clients. Integrity is another one of our core values. Our loyalty lies with our clients, and we always seek to do what is best for them. Here, let me just pause real quick. What I've tried to do here is take the actual statement and then put a sentence with it that here's what it means to me, right? Because integrity on its own, like I said, it's a good word. Who's not trying to have integrity as a core value or a value, period. But what does integrity mean to me? That my loyalty is to my clients and that I'm always trying to seek to do what's best for them. It's why I'll say no thank you to a wonderful, proposal from a DMC that I know is costing far more than it should, or booking them at a hotel because it's where I went to lunch with a, supply or a hotelier the week before, but it's not really what they told me they were looking for. Things like that, right? I want integrity so that my clients really believe that the decisions that I am making on their behalf is what is best for them. The next one would be quality of work. We strive to deliver exceptional service and attention to detail in every experience we create. This is really important to me. I want to push ourselves and the team to always be quality over quantity. What ways can we go above and beyond with how we work with our clients? The next one is inspiring travel. This is what it means to me. We aim to inspire others to explore and appreciate the beauty of the world through thoughtfully crafted journeys. I definitely wholeheartedly believe in the transformative power of travel. And I understand that it is also to disconnect, to recharge. All of those things are true and have its place and purpose. But the value for me and why I started this business really has to do with seeing the world and being able to be inspired by that ability to travel and experience different things, which brings me to my 5th core value, cultural appreciation. And here's what that means to me. We respect and celebrate diverse cultures, fostering deeper understanding and connection through travel. I would say that one is probably the one that I feel very, very connected to because it guides a lot of the decisions I make in terms of like what companies I use, what I'm seeking out to learn more about myself, and so that I can make smarter and more informed decisions and respect and appreciate the cultures around the world where we travel to and where we send clients to. So when I started Milk and Honey Travels, as I've said in every section so far, I did not have these values clearly outlined. But I found that over time, certain things kept emerging in how I worked with clients and how I made decisions. And so when things start popping up and becoming like this theme, start to take notice of that. And this becomes part of your brand's DNA, so to speak. That idea of personalization, transparency, deep respect for culture. These are things that really, really, truly resonate with me, matter to my clients, and infuse themselves into the types of trips that we create. So here's an exercise to kind of discover what matters most to you if you're having a little bit of trouble here. Ask yourself, what non-negotiables drive the way you do business, right? Like, what are you like, absolutely has got to be this, and absolutely will not be that. Whatever it is, non-negotiables that drive the way you do business. Number 2, what do you want clients to say about working with you? Number 3, what do you believe in no matter what? Like, take a stand here. Make it really personal to you and your brand that, hey, here are the things that really, really matter and are going to define how we do business. And these become your core values. All right. So that's the mission, vision, and values of your business. And essentially, I hope that you have a better understanding of what those are. but also how they relate to your brand identity. Now, this is kind of like me trying to explain to you, okay, you've defined your mission, your vision, your values, and this is a episode on branding. How do those become the blueprint for your brand? Here's how I see it. Number one, your messaging. Your mission should be reflected in how you talk about your business online, in emails, on social media. Your mission should clearly communicate the unique experience that you provide. The next thing is your client experience. Your vision, the vision for your business should shape how you design trips, how you do business. Essentially, if your goal is to create stress-free, high luxury, high touch travel, every part of your process should feel seamless, polished. It should align with that vision, right? And consistency. Your core values is what, like I said, helps you make decisions. And for example, if one of your values, like mine was, is cultural appreciation, then perhaps you really take notice of how you prioritize working with local guides or partners who share a similar mindset as you. Think about brands that you admire. It could be hotels, airlines, fashion labels, within the travel industry or without, but their brand identity is consistent, clear, and intentional. And your travel business should have that same level of clarity and purpose. Next thing in terms of how to make your brand stand out is identifying your USP, which stands for unique selling proposition. And if you've done any sort of like branding work, you've heard that phrase before. But essentially, this is what sets you apart from every other travel advisor. The thing that makes you unique, right? Your unique selling proposition. It's your point of view. It's your hot take. It's the reason your ideal clients say, yes, this is exactly who I want to work with. This is exactly the right service provider for what I am looking for. Now, a strong USP is going to both attract and repel. I really don't believe that you can do one without the other. So if you're aiming to attract, but you are scared to repel, then you're not doing it right. You need to be bold, clear, and specific with what is unique about you, why clients should choose you, and what makes you different. If your branding is trying to appeal to everyone, it's going to resonate with no one. So your USP should make it unmistakably clear who you serve, how you serve them, and why they should choose you over the next advisor or the next company or, like I said, all the different ways that they could choose to book their travel, calling up their Amex Platinum card, whatever. So trying to put this in kind of like a way that resonates or can make it make sense. I came up with a couple of my own USPs. And some of these, I feel like I said, even with like how I approach this, I start somewhere and then I try to go deeper or to continue to make it like, give me more. This is what I ask myself all the time. So some of these, like, they're not quite all the way there yet, but I wanted to kind of give you my thought process, how I work through these. So for my brand, we don't just plan trips. We curate transformative experiences tailored to each traveler's desires. Another one. We believe in seamless, stress-free travel with white glove service from the first inquiry to the final flight home. Another one. Our expertise is in matching people with places that light them up, making sure that every detail is intentional and unforgettable. And another one. I think this is probably the one that I would say is like the hot take, right? We are not a budget-friendly agency. Our goal is not to save you money. It's only to maximize your investment. Now, you could definitely like say the opposite and it's not right or wrong, right? Like you could be like, our goal is to save you money. That's fantastic. It is not something that I want to be known for. It is not something that I want clients to come to me for. It is not my goal in how I approach planning travel. Now, sometimes do I have to be more mindful or do I like take that into account? Yes, of course. But I'm positioning myself so that in everything that I'm saying, doing, and showcasing, I'm going to attract clients that are not looking to quote unquote save money, who want that ability to be working with a matchmaker and somebody who really cares about every detail of their trip, who wants their experience to be stress-free with white glove service, and who cares more about transformative experience that is tailored to them specifically. All those things matter to me. And I want all of those things to also matter to the clients that I attract. I need there to be that overlap. And I need to make those things clear to them so that when they choose me, they know that I'm going to deliver in those areas because I have made that apparent that this is what I'm known for, right? So if you don't have a clear USP, here are some questions that you can ask yourself. Number one, what is your strongest belief about travel? Maybe you believe slow travel is the best way to experience a destination, or adventure travel is the most rewarding. Like if you're not jumping off a cliff or skydiving, like why did you even bother to show up, right? Whatever your strongest belief about travel is, write it down. Number two, what kind of travelers do you love working with? We got to make sure that the type of travelers you're trying to work with are aligned with like what they actually value or what they're looking for as well, right? Make a note of what travelers you love working with and what they're looking for. Number three, what services or experiences do you offer that others don't? Or how do you do it differently? How do you do it uniquely? Whatever the case may be. Do you have exclusive partnerships? Do you have unmatched personalization? Do you have destination expertise that would put me to shame? Probably. There is something that you do that most other people don't do. There's approach, a way that you do things, a thing that you're great at, a thing that you would hang your hat on, whatever the case may be, that other people don't do as well as you. You need to lean into that. And another good question, number four, what do you not do? This is just as important as what you do. Do you refuse to work with a certain type of client looking for a certain type of trip? Do you avoid something specific or, intentionally not do something? Whatever it is you do not do is just as important as what you do. So write a statement that captures what makes your brand unique and make sure that it's clear, bold, and hopefully a little polarizing. So I want you to attract and repel in equal parts. This is going to drive business forward in the right way. And when you embrace your USP, your unique selling proposition, you're going to stop attracting clients who aren't the right fit and start bringing in those who value exactly what you offer and exactly who you are. So lean in, don't shy away. All right. The next thing we're going to discuss is how to clarify your visual and verbal branding. So what we've done so far is kind of get at the heart of what makes our brand what it is and why all that matters. And the way that we express this is through our visual and verbal branding, both what people see and what they hear or read, what have you. So let's talk about these aspects of our brand. This is obviously going to include your logo, your color palettes, your font, but also your tone of voice and how you communicate, right? Everything should work together to tell a cohesive story and make your brand instantly recognizable. So think about brands you can identify immediately just by seeing a certain color or a phrase or even a font, right? Tiffany and Company. If you see that robin's egg blue, they have that color monopolized. You know to think Tiffany. Apple is all about sleek, minimalist design, crisp white space. How off-brand would it be if it was like bold colors and lots of things going on? There are plenty of brands that do that and do that well, but it would be so off-brand if Apple came out with that type of look for anything that they were trying to kind of like showcase, right? Obviously, something like Nike, all you need to see is a swoosh. All you need to hear is just do it. And you know what you're talking about or who you're talking about. So in the travel industry, maybe you think about like a brand like Aman, right? Aman Resorts. It's a quiet, exclusive luxury. It's not shouting. It's not over the top, but everything from their muted, elegant visuals or their soft-spoken but confident messaging communicates their brand. It's like, oh, I get what they're about. I understand who they're for and who they're not for. And I think that this is the thing that we want with our own brands. Our goals as travel advisors is to create a brand that is just as unmistakable. People know it's us. People know what we're about. People know what to expect. And so when someone lands on your Instagram or your website or receives an email from you, they should immediately get the sense of who you are and the type of experience you offer because there is that visual and verbal consistency with everything that you send out. So my branding hopefully evokes this sense of calm luxury or personal connection, seamless travel experiences. I use warm neutrals in my color palette, and that's intentional. I want like a refined yet inviting aesthetic. My tone of voice, which I think is a very strong part of my brand, is approachable yet knowledgeable. I want my clients to feel like they're talking to a friend, right? A trusted friend who happens to be an expert in luxury travel. So I'm not super professional or polished. I feel like if I'm writing an email and you can't tell it's me, then something is off, because the way that I speak and the way that I write in my social media captions, in my email newsletters, on my website should like shine through that this is Brianna speaking, right? And it's part of my brand identity and the verbal branding that I am trying to hone in on. So how you define your visuals and verbal branding, if you were able to work with somebody, kind of really get this right, that's fantastic. But that comes at a certain point in business. It's not something that like you jump out the gate usually focusing on or investing in. However, I would say that if you don't get right those first 2 points that we talked about, then focusing just on how to like make your visuals and your verbal branding on point is going to fall short, because you don't know what your mission, vision, and values are. You don't know what your USP is. And so somebody else doing the work to incorporate that into visuals or verbal branding is going to miss the mark, because you have to first explain that part of your brand identity in order for it to come through in your visuals and your verbal. So think about visuals. You're choosing 2 to 3 core colors, right? A signature font style, a consistent imagery style. Now, the things to think through if you're kind of working through this on your own are your images light and airy? Are they bold and editorial? Are they soft and romantic, right? These things are going to go towards a certain type of brand aesthetic. In your messaging, what are 3 to 5 words that describe how you want your clients to feel when they interact with your brand? These brand words, so to speak, really make sure that when you write stuff, copy, for all the different ways we write copy, if it is essentially staying on brand, it's a filter you can run it through to make sure that your messaging is consistent. So is that sophisticated? Is that playful? Is that bold? Is that elegant? If you have the word playful as one of your brand words, it should be really evident to you when you read something that you write. Does that sound playful? Or does that sound sophisticated? Does that sound elegant? Like, it just is a nice filter to make sure that you are staying on brand. And then tone of voice, which is a little bit different than like the messaging overall. But this is just your brand voice. Formal and refined, friendly and conversational. Are you direct and to the point, or do you use that poetic, descriptive language, etc.? I think this is one reason why the use of AI, ChatGPT, all the other ones can not work for so many people, because they haven't told these AI tools what their tone of voice is, what their messaging is. And so it could be like sound really lovely, right? This poetic, descriptive language, but like your tone of voice is super friendly and conversational. And so this lovely poetic language seems super opposite to that and not on brand at all. When you use other services like AI, you first have to know what your verbal branding is for it to start to mimic or be able to replicate how you actually sound and make that consistent. Just an FYI. So a thing to kind of help with this verbal and visual branding is to use mood boards. I am not a great Pinterest user, but this can be physical or on Pinterest. Essentially, you're trying to put together colors, font, imagery, words, etc., that embody your brand. And then you take this mood board and you can kind of compare it like, okay, great. This really feels like it captures the thing that I want my brand to capture. Now I'm going to look at my website or my social media and see if they are in alignment with this vision that you have created. The last thing I want to talk about is how to establish brand consistency, because this probably is the most underrated aspect of branding, but it is what builds long-term recognition and trust. You can't do all of these things once or just every so often and expect your brand to land or to be memorable, which is what we want. A strong brand should be instantly recognizable no matter where someone encounters it. Whether somebody's on your website, your social media, reading a newsletter from you, or getting a client proposal even as they walk through the journey of being a client of yours, there needs to be this recognizable aspect of everything that they encounter because there is brand consistency. If you think about brands that you love in the travel industry or out of the travel industry, whether that's, luxury brands like the Four Seasons, Amon, etc., no matter where you engage with them, you're getting that same feeling. You're, Four Seasons, luxury, exclusivity, high touch service, etc. The same should be true for our brands, even if we're a small business of one, right? Here's how we ensure brand consistency. We're using the same visual identity across all platforms, which we just kind of touched on, but all of our logo, color, fonts, images, styles, there should be a cohesiveness everywhere people see anything that is from us. So when you're creating your Instagram posts, when you're designing your website, the PDFs you might create for your clients, all of these need to have a visual identity that is recognizable to your brand. So if they interact with you in one place and then they interact with you in another place, they're not, whoa, what's going on here? It's familiar, it's aligned. Your messaging needs to be consistent. This is number 2. The way you talk about your services should be the same, whether it is in an Instagram caption, an email, an in-person conversation. You got to know your messaging in order for it to be consistent. So that's number 1. But the way you talk, your tone of voice, that polished or refined, warm and conversational, whatever it may be, should be the same across all touch points. Don't have one personality on Instagram and then people get a newsletter from you and it's like you're writing for the president, right? It needs to be the same across all touch points. Number 3, this is kind of a great thing to do, whether you are a solo travel advisor, you have a team, but I think you should do it regardless, is having a brand guideline document. So this is going to help you stay consistent. This should include your brand mission and your USP, your unique selling proposition. It should say your core brand colors, how they should be used. It should say your fonts, when to use them. It should give examples of your brand's tone of voice in action. And it should have guidelines for photography and imagery. So if it's just you use this guideline when you are creating things and making sure that it stays on brand. If it is more than you, if you are using a freelancer or if you have people on your team that are involved in different elements of your business, they understand that this brand guideline is a blueprint of all things that matter to your brand so that it does become something that is consistent and cohesive. Number 4, make your client experience match your branding. Now, we did a whole series on brand experience and how that rolls into client experience, but I do believe that if you market yourself in a certain way, stress-free, high-touch luxury travel advisor, whatever the case may be, this is just kind of like what mine is. Every interaction a client has with you and your brand should be reinforcing that message. So that means a seamless booking process, beautifully designed travel documents, proactive communication that makes them feel taken care of. I need to make sure that I am not just saying things that sound good for a brand, but then the experience people actually have with working with me don't follow suit. This is a way, or this really does affect like the way people are able to share about you and talk about their experiences in a way that is either like, oh, great, you are going to have that repeat referral business that is in alignment with clients who value those things or not. And so that leads me to the last point of staying consistent in how you present your offers. If your marketing is talking about, high customization, luxury, but you're sending out generic PDFs that have no branding, or, you really don't pay any attention to what your proposals look like because whatever supplier they come from or DMC they come from, you just send them along. To me, now here's a hot take because I know people disagree. I'm going to say that is not consistent in your branding. Now, like I said, hot take. This is me having a unique selling proposition when it comes to how your behavior as a travel advisor in certain ways. Like I understand it's quicker. It, makes it easier, the flow of whatever things getting from one point to another, all those things. But what it says about your brand and the consistency and cohesiveness that you are creating and that you have control over to not send out proposal templates that are branded, that seem like you, that sound like you, etc. These things should be cohesive and intentional. Again, that's just my hot take. So to make sure that this brand consistency is happening, or to just kind of get a pulse on where you could do better, choose one thing, one platform. It could be your social media, your website, your client emails. and do a brand consistency check. Ask yourself, does this look, feel, and sound like my brand? If not, what needs to be adjusted to ensure alignment? Phew, I've talked a lot, but to recap, we've covered the importance of defining your mission, vision, and values and how these elements shape your brand identity. And we've also talked about your unique selling proposition, the hot take that differentiates you, attracts the right clients, and repels the wrong ones. We explored the role of visual and verbal branding in making your business instantly recognizable. And finally, the importance of brand consistency in building trust and recognition over time. So my thing that I want to leave you with is, if you've been struggling with branding, if it still feels a bit overwhelming, start small. Write down what you know to be true about your business today and refine it over time. Branding isn't something you figure out overnight. It's something you build as you grow. And I believe you continue to refine over and over and over again as you grow. It's not somewhere like you just arrive and then it's done, never thought to be thought of again. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love if you would consider leaving a review and letting us know, or for you to share your takeaways and tag me on Instagram at Masters in Travel so that I know you find these types of podcasts helpful and you got something out of it. Let's keep this conversation going and help each other build brands that truly shine. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.